Blog Talk Radio. I had to go there to find my soul. Yeah. All right, guys. God bless you. Welcome to This Is It Before the Fire. Let's see. Uh, before I kick off tonight's program, first of all, I hope you're ready for a really fun evening together. This is going to be fun. This was for me personally. The way this message happened, it happened in like two phases, and I was literally jumping around in my chair. When I say jumping around in my chair, for anyone that's watching, right now, I was going like just jumping around in my chair, going, oh, freaking out. I probably looked like a lot like the Kung Fu Panda. I was freaking out, just what? And then the way the message got driven home was so crazy. Yeah. Once again, it's so encouraging. It's going to be so encouraging tonight. But before I get started, I need to address something, okay? And this has come up. It's not the first time it's come up, but I need to address it, okay? So people understand, and so there's no animosity, there's no, weird hurt feelings or any of that. Okay, let me just say it like it is. Okay, here's the deal. I started off in this, what I'm doing back in 2002. Right away, 2003, I was out there starting a website called clearapath.com. At that time, I found out just how mean and hateful self-professing people that use the word Christian, they say they're Christians, and then their actions dictate otherwise. Now, once again, I'm just going to say it. I'm going to talk 100% straight. I'm not going to blow any smoke up anyone's anything. I'm just going to talk straight. I mean, I'm required to do that. As much as I want everybody that says they're a Christian to actually be a Christian, the number of people that name that name are so few and far between. It's really ridiculous. I mean, it's a very small number. And if you're here, even if you're here at this ministry, even if you come listen every night, if you don't understand the basic principle of being on the Petra, and you're not on the Petra, I love you in Christ, but I owe it to you to tell you, you are not in what Jesus said, I will build my church. He said, I will build my church upon this Petra. The word is rock. And I'm sorry, that's all there is to it. And the reason, I have to deal with this is, look, the night I got saved, everyone knows the story. Look, if the Lord saved, I don't care who it was, whether or not it's me or anybody else, and their personal testimony was that, the first thing God told them to do was to read the tags and the clothes they're carrying. Like in the back of a shirt, there'll be a tag, on the back of the neck that shows you the size of the shirt. And back in those days, it used to be printed on a tag more than it was just printed on the shirt. It had a little tag in it, and that tag said 100% no lion, 100% nylon. I'm sorry, Billy wrote that in the chat room. I looked at no line. It said 100% nylon, and then that didn't make any sense whatsoever that some supernatural source was telling me to read the tags of my shirt. And according to the first thing I read, it looked like I was really not hearing from anybody. But then I heard the voice tell me, now turn it upside down. And I turned it upside down. I said 100% no lion. Like a Texan would say, no lion. Hey, no lion. You better not lie. No lion. 100% no lion. Okay, now listen. Unless you are on the Petra, I am giving you 100% no lion. You're not in Jesus' church. You're not. You can't be by default. Because Jesus said, upon this rock, I will build my church. Okay, that's it. So that's the reason. That is the entire reason that I was saved the way I was saved. I had to be saved that way because it's a very narrow gate, isn't it? It's a very, very limited acceptability clause, isn't it? I mean, if I tell everybody, hey guys, you know what? People, I love Jesus, this, I do this, I do that, and they don't know what the Petra is. I can't look at them and say, oh yeah, brother, you're in. Oh yeah, I owe it to them to say, well, wait a minute. Do you understand that unless you're on the Petra, Jesus said, upon this rock, this Petra, I will build my church. If you don't know what the Petra is, and I mean, seriously, how can you be in his church? Okay, it's impossible by default. So that being said, now listen. Look, I have a very small circle of friends, that people that I've known over the past, 3 or 4 years, that I still have people that I'm friends with that I've known for, 10 years or whatever. But that's in my close circle of Christian, indwelling spirit, real Christians. That number is very small. I don't have a lot of phone contact with a lot of people. I don't. I'm very secluded that way. And the reality is, I've had, like right now, I'll open up my emails just for the record. I have 9,999 plus emails in my inbox. Okay, that's what I have. Okay, I have erased over 54,000 emails at one time because I can't read them all. I can't. I cannot go on YouTube and answer everybody's questions. I can't. And so I need to make this very clear, because I've been getting, I get emails, and some people usurp my email address. They either find someone that gave it to them, and they think that it's okay to email me and tell me all the reasons God showed them something that's so important that I got to know it. And if I don't know what God showed them, then, it's going to be, big problems if I don't understand what they have to tell me. I'm just going to say this. It doesn't work that way, okay? When God calls a servant, he does not need someone to find their email, usurp it, and that's like forcing your way in someone's front door. Do you understand? As someone gets my phone number, in a way, I've had people find my phone number, find a way to get my phone number and call me up and say, well, I got your phone number this way, and they think it's okay. It's not okay. If someone really needs to contact me and they want to go through the Facebook group or something, and they get through to Dave or someone else, and they say it's important, I do call people back. There's people that, y'all know, I will call back from a number that's blocked, and I need to have my own, my own life, besides people thinking it's okay to kick down my front door, and come into my house. It's not okay. And if someone does that and they think, oh, well, how dare you not receive me well, that shows me that they're demonically imbued. Okay, if someone thinks that it's okay to kick down my door or to force their way into my life without me inviting them, that means, and they get upset that I go, wait a minute, I'm sorry, no, this is not acceptable, and they get upset, that's just demonic, period. There's nothing Christ-like about it. I'm just telling you, I cannot receive those. So please, if someone needs to get a hold of me, and it's a matter of urgency, first of all, take it to God. Okay, you should go to the Lord first. It's where you go. And if somebody needs help from someone that, just hear another voice, whatever, if you go through, the Facebook thing, or you send a message to, Dave, Eric, or somebody on Facebook, and they get in touch with me, and they give me a cell phone number, I can contact someone that way, but it will always come through a block number. My number is not for the general public. I'm sorry. I've had too many weird things happen, and I will not allow those things to happen again. Again, I owe it to my family to protect them and to buffer them from all the demonic entities that come through people that are claiming Christ. I'm sorry, I don't believe everybody. That's the truth. If someone tells me that they are a Christian, that remains to be seen. And so I'm allowed to take this stand. Some people don't think I'm allowed to take this stand, and I'm like, well, you're crazy then. It's not okay to come push open my front door, walk in my door, and tell me all the things that God has told you that you're supposed to tell me. That's insane. I don't care. Okay? I don't. I do not care. You'll have to go do that somewhere else. Okay? So you know. So if anybody that's been emailing me is listening to this point, hear and understand. Those emails go directly into, I block the IP address, and they go directly into the trash, and I never see your emails, so you can email me all day long, all you want. I'll never even see your address. It doesn't even come across my screen. So you know, I block the IP addresses. Everybody understand that? And if anybody that is here, you know, listening, and this fits you, I'm sorry. You need to do some self-inspection, not pointing your finger that I don't want to receive it. Okay, that's ridiculous, absurd. Okay, now that we got that out of the way. All right, now guys, tonight, once again, we're going to change the venue here in just a minute, and we're going to have fun because tonight's going to be an absolutely amazing night. Testimonial. It's just amazing to me on a personal level the way the Lord did it. Again, literally left me aghast. My mouth was hanging open, and I'm not just saying that, you know, as a term of, to hype the message. I'm not. I was literally in my room, and I knew my kids could hear me in the other room, and I was in here going, whoa, oh my God, whoa, and I was freaking out. And I knew my kids could hear me in the other room because I was freaking out so loud, because I knew the Lord had dropped such a bomb on me. I was like, that is so amazing. And then he confirmed it. So I want to pass that on to you tonight. I want to give you guys that confidence again. I want to give you guys another witness. So you guys know he's coming. I know he's coming, and I just can't stand it. It's just, the suspense is killing me. I'm very excited. Now I'm going to switch cameras. I'm going to go over. You might have to refresh your. We'll see. You might have to refresh your now. I'm going to change cameras and see if it works. Okay, so let's see. Okay, sit tight. Here we go. Okay. Go ahead and refresh. Okay, that should do it. Okay, there we go. That should do it if you go ahead and refresh now. Okay, so give me just a minute. Of course there's a guy blowing a shofar right now. Of course I see people on the screen leaving Egypt. I want to show you guys something first. Okay. Tonight we're going to use, what are the odds? By the way, I have the show notes open from, guys, I have the show notes open from the 7th. And this is so very odd. Do y'all remember on the 7th, Dave's torment video? Everybody remember Dave's torment video? We're going to watch that in just a second. Okay, I'm going to grab Billy Montoya, and I'm going to have him come on and pray, and I'm going to sit here and pray. And let's get into tonight, and let's just kind of, let's ease into this and have a really fun time. Because tonight's message to me literally had me bouncing up and down in my chair, and out loud, literally screaming out loud, going, whoa, oh my God, whoa, oh God, oh wow. Freaking out. I was freaking out because the way the Lord dropped the bomb. And then he dropped the bomb a couple hours ago in the car, and I did not get it until, just literally instantaneously, Jackie Rowland had called up, and when she spoke one sentence, the Lord just reminded me. And I'm going to try and see if I can convey all that to you guys tonight because it is so exciting. All right, now, Billy Montoya, I'm going to click on your microphone. Billy.
Billy.
By the way, Billy
Billy.
Montoya is
Billy.
someone who I met years and years ago, and he was very respectful about, hey, would it be okay to contact you? Would it be okay? And that's the way it works. But if somebody comes barging in the door, it's hard to want to invite them in. You know what I mean? And so, Billy and I forged a relationship over the years, but it's because Billy is a respectful person. And I just want to make sure that everybody knows I want to help everyone I can, but it's got to be done in the right way. Okay. All right, Mr. Montoya, what's up?
Billy.
Billy, Billy, Billy. What's up?
What was weird about today is I'm going to give you a witness right here. Is I called you earlier today. I didn't mean to call you. I told you I was trying to call another Johnny.
Right.
I have multiple Johnnies on my phone, as you have multiple Billies on your show.
Right.
But that's just what the Lord's, and then the Lord was just speaking to me. He's like, well, you need to really focus on Johnny's show tonight because of the message. But I called you, and you were very, very excited, just like you were talking about. The Lord's been speaking to you. Da da da. And I'm like, wow. I was
totally pumped up.
Another brother just asked what he wanted to pray about, and his prayer was that he would have a chance to witness to somebody else today, and that was his prayer. So, anyways,
awesome.
Yeah, let's invite the Lord to this program, and let's see what you have for you.
I'm already buzzing. Go, buddy.
Well, let's buzz some more here, Father. We praise you. We thank you. And we give you all praise and honor and glory tonight, Lord, as we come before you, Father. Lord, I just pray that you would be with John tonight as he is just proclaiming the message that you gave him today, Father. He was just so excited about it. And I'm excited that he is excited. And I wish that everybody that's listening to this show would be excited about the message that is coming forth tonight from your throne room. And we just give you thanks and honor and glory. We just praise you and we thank you. Lord, for anybody who's out there who's suffering and just needs a word tonight, Father, I hope that their ears are open, their hearts are open, Lord, to receive the word. And we give you all praise and honor and glory in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen and amen. Thank you, Billy. Awesome. Appreciate it. All right, so here we go. Let's just come out of the gate. I'm not going to throw on another song and stuff. I just want to get going. Let's get going. Okay, so remember like how everything kind of segues, right? When we put another thread or another yarn in the tapestry, have y'all noticed that stuff overlaps now? I mentioned it. Everything overlaps. It's really kind of weird. I mean, it's really interesting to me to see how it constantly overlaps, like the thought from the program before somehow gets drug into the next one and the next. And, there's always this overlapping or congruency of thoughts and disclosure. It's really, it's an ongoing story, Robert M. Robert M. wrote in the chat room, ongoing story. Yes, it is. It's an ongoing, overlapping story that's building a picture. It's really fascinating to me to see how it does that. Now, the same thing's going to happen here. It's going to be the same kind of thing, but I want to remind you all about Monday. Now, this is wild. Okay, so remember on Monday, I was like, I was reading that thing about Abba, right? About Abba. The Lord told me, look up Abba, and I'm like, why am I looking up Abba? What's up with that? Of course, I get the name, Abba, A-B-B-A, mirror reflection. So I'm thinking, why am I looking up Abba? And so I'm reading down this extensive Wikipedia site. I'm like, dang, this thing is so long. I just, I was overwhelmed. I had scrolled to the bottom of it, and I was like, oh, gosh, I can't read all this. And so, and so I start scrolling down from the top again, and I look over, and I'm like, oh, wow, some song, Ring, Ring, and I'm sitting there reading ring, and I hear Dave giggling, Dave Shadow, and I'm on the phone with Dave, and Dave, he goes, "Hey, I sent you something," and so I'm gonna play again what Dave sent me. I just think it's hysterical. So let's get the laughs going to start. Okay, let's start. Here we go. Okay, we're gonna play Johnny Moto. Johnny Moto. I really didn't catch that the first time, so here we go. I don't know what happened. It just buffered. Let's try it again. It's buffering. It's stopping. Okay, let's give it a second. Hang on. Here we go. I might have to relaunch it. Okay, everybody give me 1 second, okay? See, it's going to an error message, so let me clear it. Let me go back to it again. Just sit tight. Johnny Moto, ring my bell. It looks like there may be an internet slowdown here. Uh-oh, Dave. We're having an error occurring. Oh. Okay, everybody just sit tight with me on uVlog or YouNow. I'm going to go ahead and exit out. I'm going to relaunch. I'm going to relaunch the show notes. I'm going to refresh, get a new screen up. Everybody sit tight. Let me see if it'll launch this time. Well, it looks like maybe with that particular page there's a buffering issue. Hopefully that won't play out in all the stuff tonight. I hope not. If it does, you know what? I'm going to if it does, I will probably hold off because I really want this program to be exactly what was delivered to me today. And if there's some kind of technical issues tonight, then I'll figure out what to do with that in just a minute. Okay, let's just see if this will go again. March 7th. Okay, here we go. Let me just see if it'll play this way. Okay, come on. Let's play. It looks like I'm going to have to try the other. Okay, everybody, listen up. Everybody just sit tight, okay? Everybody just sit tight because I don't know if it's the site that is down. I'm going to have to go to a different set of show notes for tonight. And I'm going to see if tonight's show notes do not work, if we're having trouble with these videos on the ones for tonight's show notes, then it might just be worth it to come back at it. It looks like it's a YouTube issue. It's working on some, but not on others. That is very strange. All right, guys. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and put a song on Blog Talk, and then I'm going to see if I can upgrade. If I need to, yeah, we're having terrible weather, guys. Last night was a long night here. It was lots of storms. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and put a song on, and I'm going to see what I can do to get this thing working. If it needs an upgrade on Real Play or something like that. Everybody sit tight. Okay, let's just see what's going to happen here.
like a sore head, and the night it is aching. Two lovers lie with no sheets on their bed, and the day it is breaking. On rainy days we go swimming out. On rainy days, swimming in the town. On rainy days, we'd go swimming out. You're in my mind all the time. I know that's not enough. If the sky can crack, there must be some way back. For love and only love. Electric get you through. Compromise, that's nothing new to you. Let's see colors that have never been seen. Let's go to places that no one else has been. You're in my mind all the time. I know that's not enough. Well, if the sky can crack, there must be some way back to love and only love. Electric blue sky. Electric blue sky. Electric blue Hot as hell, honey, in this room. Sure hope the weather will break soon. The air is heavy, heavy and mature. We need the rain to wash away our bad luck. Well, if the sky can crack, there must be some way back to love and only love. Electric blue sky. Electric blue sky. Electric blue All right, I think I found a way around it, folks. Okay, I think what's going on is the problem is the link that we use as the show note link is going to be the issue. Okay, here we go. So I will be able to do this, but I will not be able to play the videos through the show note link, but I'll still get them on the screen. Give me a moment. So here we go. Yeah. So the show note link is what's acting oddly, and that's what's going to cause the issue. So I will defer to this. Let me see, one moment. Okay, so
All right, well, here we go. Let me just try and get this thing out of the gate. When I need these, I will come back to them as quickly as I can. Okay, so there we go. And if something happens that proves otherwise to work, then we'll stick with it. But I believe it's the link. Are y'all having problems with the link tonight? Let's blame this one on Dave. I think would be the wise thing to do. Yeah. This is turning into a bit of a debacle, but that's all right. I'll work on it. I'll try and make it happen. You now is working. Yeah. No. So y'all are not having problems? No problems playing it there. It must be something to do with the weather then. We have lots. Okay, just once again, just give me a minute. I'm gonna put on one more song and then I'll just. All right, we got it. I got it going. Let's go. Okay, guys, so here we go. Listen. Let me see. I'm going to go back and hopefully this will work. Hopefully, if it doesn't work, I'm just going to throw my hands in the air and let's see. Here we go. The show note link. Okay. March 7th. I'm going to open our March 7th. I'm going to try and remind you guys because this is just really amazingly wild stuff. Johnny Moto, hopefully this works. Please let it work, Lord. There you go. Okay, so what's the point? Yeah. Okay, you can ring my bell. Debbie Harry, I thought it was really funny. Now, here's the point of the whole thing. I'm going to talk quickly. I want to get past this part. I lost some time. So anyway, it was very funny that the other day when the Lord's telling me to look up Abba, I'm looking at the words ring, ring, and it's a song that Abba wrote. Now, don't forget, I know that the name Abba is an affectionate name of me and all of us that have been saved by the blood of Christ. We call out Abba Father. He's our dad, daddy. It's like Hebrew for daddy. Okay, what's really cool about it is you know God, because when you know that Abba is a mirror reflection of itself, AB/BA, you know that you know the paradigm. You know that you know you're on the rock. That's the whole point of God using the name Abba while I'm looking for whatever it was I'm looking for. I'm looking at the words ring, ring, and then Dave starts laughing on the phone. He says, hey, I sent you a video, and it's ring, ring. Okay, that, let me tell you what that is. That's Daddy saying, Jonathan, ring, ring. You get it? That's like Daddy saying, hey, ring, ring. Because I'm reading up on Abba, I'm looking at the words ring, ring, and Dave Shadow he's on my headset, and Dave's laughing, and he's saying, hey, look, I sent you a video. And I look at the video, and it's ring, 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 ring. That's just bananas. There's just no way. Okay, now let's get to the show notes for tonight, okay? Now, there we go. How many of y'all have seen The Count of Monte Cristo with Jim Caviezel? How many of y'all have seen it? I'm just curious. I want to know how many people are going to get. If you've seen The Count of Monte Cristo with Jim Caviezel, you are going to have the aha moment. Okay, this was mind destroying to me. I was like, okay, well, Dave and I were talking the other day, and I don't know how it came up even. I really have no idea. But Dave, Dave mentions the Count of Monte Cristo. Well, y'all remember the movie V, that movie V for Vendetta? We had a radio program on it one time. And so I thought it was very interesting. In the movie V for Vendetta, there's a scene after V has taken Evie back to his lair, and he's out there sword fighting with a coat of arms, which is a metal suit of armory, and he's out there and he's practicing his fencing, and Evie comes out and she's like, "What are you doing?" And he's like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I was just watching the Count of Monte Cristo." And she goes, "Oh, I've never seen it." He goes, "Oh, you've never seen it?" He's like, "It is just such a great, it's my favorite movie." That's what V says. So anyway, I find that interesting too, but I want to show you all something very odd. Yesterday, I took off the radio program because my other son is in town, and I heard the Lord tell me, take a break, spend some time with your son, and watch the Count of Monte Cristo. I'm like, that's weird. Watch the Count of Monte Cristo. So I'm thinking, okay, well, you know what? I got the kids at home. I'll hang out with them. I'll lay down in my bed and I'll watch the Count of Monte Cristo. Oddly enough, I turn the movie on sitting in front of my computer, and I'm so captivated by the movie. I'm like, wow, I didn't even get up out of my seat until, one of my children, I forgot what it was. Maybe we had to eat. I was like, oh, yeah. And so I get up, I take care of the kids, and I'm right back at this movie, The Count of Monte Cristo. I want to show you guys something that was, if you've seen the movie, he gets taken to a prison, and he certainly does not deserve to go. He didn't do anything wrong, and his guy that he thought was his good friend set him up so he could steal his girl and destroy his whole life. In the dungeon that he was in the prison that he was in, it says, "God will give me justice." That was carved into the wall. And that's on your picture tonight. Y'all see that? Okay. That was carved into the wall of the cell he was in. And I saw it, and I didn't really think much of it because I hadn't seen the whole movie. I was thinking, he's trapped in this cell. The previous person that was in the jail cell wrote, "God will give me justice," but obviously that person died and went on, and guy was in there for I forget how many years, 13 years. And there's an image of Jim Caviezel, and he's continuing to kind of gouge out the same word, "God will give me justice." So he keeps working on this, this carving over all these years. He continues to gouge it out. And then, oddly enough, this guy pops up through his cell floor. Another prisoner has been digging his way out, and he pops up through his floor. And it's this guy called Preacher or something, and it's played by Richard Harris. For those of y'all that have seen the movie, you know what I'm talking about. For those of y'all that don't, you've got to watch the movie. It's part of your show notes tonight. It is absolutely amazing. The movie, it's a story of absolute tragedy. He was in love. He had a super great woman. Of course, he had a best friend that wasn't a friend at all, and his friend totally screws him over to try and get his girlfriend, or he was going to marry her. And then, it's just a tragic story. He ends up in a prison. He loses everything. And I'm starting to identify with the guy. I'm sitting there going like, wow. Of course, mine is nothing compared to his. And I'm just going, wow, that's crazy. He lost everything. And yeah, and it was not right. It was not fair. He was, totally screwed over by his friend. But in the movie, as you watch the movie, when this guy is taken away, Jim Caviezel, I'll call him the good guy, and then Guy Pearce is the bad guy. Well, when Jim Caviezel is taken away, the guy that's supposed to be his best friend, Guy Pearce, he just lets him know, hey, I'm the one that did it to you, and it's because you're a commoner and I'm an aristocrat, and you shouldn't have what I want. And so he hands him a chess piece. He puts it in his top pocket, a king from a chessboard, because I guess apparently they used to play chess. And he takes this king from the chessboard and he puts it in Jim Caviezel's top pocket. And Jim Caviezel, right from there, is hauled away by the authorities and taken to this prison, and he's thrown in this prison, and it is just living hell. I mean, he is thrown in isolation, and he is just totally wronged. On the wall of his cell, it says, God will give me justice. I'm going to go ahead and show you that again. Well, if you've seen the movie, you know that the justice that comes to the bad guy is so mind-boggling. In one moment, the way the justice was delivered, when I saw it, I mean, my jaw fell open. I literally almost, I was like, oh my gosh. And I had no idea that the Lord was literally playing me. I thought I was just watching this movie. I got so into it that I was not thinking of that the Lord was really even using it as a message. I wasn't even paying attention to that, the Lord had moved me to watch this movie. I was just watching the movie. I forgot all about it. There's a reason behind it. So as I watch this movie, I see this guy, this poor guy. He's hauled off. He's in prison. 13 years later, he escapes. While he was in prison, this guy that dug up through his floor teaches him how to read and write, teaches him how to sword fight, teaches him all this stuff, how to be an aristocrat. And he tells him where this giant treasure is and gives him a map. And we're talking a treasure that's so big that you could buy a country with it. It was so much gold and so much loot. Well, Jim Caviezel ends up retrieving the treasure and going back to get revenge on the people, all the people that had screwed him over, from the prosecutor to the politicians to his best friend. So that was the point. He was going to get his revenge, and he had all this money, and he had a way to make himself look like he was a count. And so he played himself off as the Count of Monte Cristo. That's why it's called the Count of Monte Cristo, because that is his new identity. And so that's how the movie comes about. Well, I don't think anything of this. I really don't. I'm not. While I'm watching the movie, the last thing in the world I'm thinking is that I'm watching a movie that has anything to do with the Lord or a message that the Lord's supposed to give me. Like I said, it came out of left field. Well, I'm going to show everybody a picture from your show notes, and let's see if y'all can see. The picture number in your show notes, by the way, if you're just looking at your show notes, let me tell you what the picture number is you want to look at, A5. It's the second picture on the second row. It's the middle picture on the second row. It's looks like a very innocuous picture. Eric wrote a chess piece. Hey, Greg, Dorada, Greg, do you remember the moment that he opened up that trunk? Who's seen the movie? No, Olive Tree. No, you're looking at the wrong thing. That looks like a BD dog. No, a bad dog. No. Okay, well, let me explain to you the way this works. Okay, and what you're looking at. So, when they haul this guy off, when they haul Jim Caviezel off, and they send him off to this prison to suffer and die, That's what he was given, was a sentence to death, to die in a prison after he had done nothing wrong. He was shipped off, and he was in there, and he ends up escaping, and he ends up retrieving this giant treasure. He ends up setting himself up as an aristocrat, as the Count of Monte Cristo. And what he does is he uses his great wealth in order to set up the situations to get everybody back that had it coming, and they really fell of their own devices. He could have killed everybody, but he didn't kill anybody. He let them walk into their own traps, basically, is what he did. And he used his money in order to set up the traps so these people would be found out for what they did a long time ago. And then he would have his moment to where he's like, do you remember me? My name is Edmond Dantes. And all of a sudden, everyone that ends up having their day of reckoning with this guy is like, oh my God, it's the guy that I falsely locked up. It's the guy that I did all this wrong to. And so, they have their moment. Well, the number one bad guy, which was his best friend, he thinks he's going to escape his justice. So the number one bad guy thinks he's going to escape the justice that's coming for him. And he's made what he thinks is arrangements to steal 4 treasure chests that would probably be the equivalent, I don't know. If it was in our day, I don't know, the kind of money back then those 4 chests would hold, I would say it would be in the millions, in the range of tens of millions of dollars. So the bad guy thinks he's going to get away with, tens of millions, put billions. The amount of money that he thought he was going to get away with was some insane amount of money. I'll just say that. He would never have to worry about money ever again if he had these treasure chests that he was going to pick up, that he thought everything was going to work out, even though he had come to the end. And he goes to get his ace in the hole. And when he goes to get his ace in the hole, he opens up these chests and there's no money in them. And he's like, oh my, he's like, and when I saw him open up the treasure chest, I see him open up the first 2 and there's nothing in them. I'm thinking, oh, look, he thinks he's getting all the money. He's opening up the chest and it's like, oh, but guess what? There's one chest and it was left with a lock on it. And so this guy takes his gun and he shoots the lock off the chest. And when he shoots the lock off the chest, well, he's sure that there's something in it, because why would there be a lock on it still? It's still locked up. And even though the other treasure chests are empty, he's thinking, oh, look, there's one left, and that's still going to be plenty to give him whatever he needs. And he shoots the lock off, and that's what's in it. Look, y'all see what that is? Picture A5. Y'all know what that is? Can y'all tell what's on that image on you now? Anyone? Yeah, do you know what chess piece it is, though? It's the king. It's the king. It's the same exact chess piece that the bad guy put in his shirt pocket all those years ago when they hauled him off to prison. Imagine that. Can you imagine the sinking feeling when, yeah. So, like whatever, he was in prison for 13 years, but then it took him some time to set up his revenge. So you're talking, 15, 16 years later, the same exact chest that you put in that the bad guy put in his pocket while they hauled him off to this prison, he had held on to it. And when the bad guy thinks he's going to escape his justice, can you imagine opening up a treasure chest that you think is going to be the thing that gets you out of all the trouble you're in because you're in so deep? But you know that if you have this treasure chest full of gold, you'll at least be able to make an escape and start a new life. And then you open it up and it's the same piece that you sent the guy off with, and it's the king. Like, checkmate. Oh, it was the most poetic justice I've ever seen in a movie. I was like, oh my Lord. That's why I was in here literally going, oh my gosh, oh dude, oh, that is bad, dude. You are done. And I was like, oh my gosh, I can't imagine the sinking, horrible, awful feeling that guy must have had when he shot the lock off, thinking, oh, well, here's my saving grace. I get this one treasure chest at least full of gold. I can start over, and it's got the chess piece in it. Oh my gosh. And in my spirit, I'm telling you, I knew that whenever this goes down with the Lord, that's what it's going to be like. Okay, wait a minute. Oh my God. Listen to this. Who are we one wrote in the chat room, the writing is on the wall. Hey, Dave Shadow, Dave, it's either Kat or Dave. One of you guys was a witness to this. My random show note said the writing is on the wall just a little while ago. I read it out loud. It was either to Kat or to Dave. I said, wow, that's interesting. My random show note says, the Mene Tekel, the handwriting is on the wall. You've been weighed in the balance. Yeah, it was Dave Shadow. Dave wrote, I was. Dave Shadow was on the phone with me. And just now, so I know that's impossible. So someone just wrote in the chat room, the handwriting's on the wall. Before the program started, I was looking at the show notes. I had a random image that said the handwriting's on the wall, and I read it to Dave. I was like, isn't that interesting? Now someone just wrote that exact same thing in the chat room. That is not a coincidence. That is a confirmation right now. I guarantee it. Okay, so here we go. So anyway, I want to get back to this. So I'm sitting there just freaking out going, oh man, this guy is going to get it. Like, oh my gosh, he's got it coming. And sure enough, he had it coming and he does get it. Well, so I'm sitting there watching the movie going like, wow, that was pretty crazy. And then the end of the movie, Jim Caviezel is restored. I'm going to show you picture A1. Here he is. Here's a picture of him up on the rock. I don't know if y'all can see that. I may have to move the camera really close. Can y'all see the people standing up there on that giant rock? That's like one big rock, the cliff. But y'all see him up there? Well, yeah. And at the end of the movie, he says, I bought this prison. He bought the whole prison that he was in so he could destroy it. And he turns around and he said, I wanted to get this revenge and all this. But he said, I realized all I really care about is right here with me. And then he says, let's go home. And he says, let's go home. He puts his arm around his kid and, the girl that he was going to marry. That's really his wife that was stolen by somebody else. And that's the end of the movie. It's by the way, spoiler alert. Sorry. So anyway, so I'm sitting here just going like, oh man, that is so crazy. That is so nuts. That was such a great movie. It was so perfect. The poetic justice was incredible. It was like, oh my gosh. And then I contacted Jackie Rowland, and I sent this picture out to Jackie Rowland. You're probably wondering, what does that have to do with anything, Jonathan? And don't worry. This is the foolishness of God to show you where this is about to go. Okay, so y'all see what's on your screen now? It's picture E5. Does anybody know what that is right there? Anybody know? Anybody know what you're looking at on the screen right now? It's no one spelled it right so far yet. Let's see if someone can. It's an opossum. Yeah, there's an O in front of it. Yeah, it's a possum. That's a possum. It's a baby possum. And I know you're probably saying, what the hell? Look at everybody trying to spell possum. Somebody spell it in spell check. Billy Skywalker got it. Oh, possum. There you go. Yeah. So anyway, isn't that the cutest little thing you've ever seen? Isn't that just the cutest? I sent that to Jackie Rowland. I thought, you want to see something really cute, Jackie? So, okay, but now I got to start segueing into the other part of this testimony, because here's where things are so weird. Okay, well, I already saw, the Count of Monte Cristo last night. When I took off from doing the program, the Lord said, watch it, hang out with your kids. I called Dave up today and I said, Dave, man, that was the greatest movie, dude. That movie was so awesome because the guy suffered. He really, really suffered. He lost everything. Everything was taken away from him. I mean, everything he held dear was taken away. And you know what? When he was in prison, when they put him in prison, the warden, challenged his faith in God, and he said, God is everywhere all the time. That's what he said. And then they hang him up to start flogging him, and he said, well, I'll tell you what. And they hang Jim Caviezel up from his arms from the ceiling in shackles, and this guy's going to start whipping him. And he says, well, if God's everywhere, cry out to him and let me know when he shows up to stop me from whipping you. He just really tortured this guy. And so anyway, at the end of the movie, the message is the same thing. God is everywhere in everything. That's what the girl says at the end of the movie. And at the end of the movie, the guy is totally restored. Yes, he went through some very difficult, very tough times. Yes, there was a lot of torture involved and a lot of sadness. Yes, it wasn't an easy road. It was brutal. But you know what? In the end, the most poetic justice I've ever seen in a movie was done. And he was restored. And it was a happy ending. And he was at peace. It was one of the best movies I've ever seen. It really was. I loved it. So anyway, after I saw this, I called Dave this morning. I said how great it was. By the way, last night I sent Todd, who's in Florida, picture. This is as random as it gets. Look, I got to jump around. This is gonna be random. Picture B. Last night I was at the grocery store and I had prayed with Todd on the phone. I walked into the grocery store with my kids. And I snuck off to the side to talk to Todd. And this is the one thing in the grocery store that I looked at and I said, I don't know why I'm photographing this, but I'm going to photograph it and send it to you, Todd. And this is how I know it. I know it's the Lord, because I had no idea why I was photographing it. I said, it says native son, and it's a tree that's red, and it's different than the other trees, and it says native son. Okay, I have to tell you this now. last night after the movie, I went into the grocery store and I sent that to Todd. Well, what does that have to do with anything? Nothing right now. Absolutely nothing yet in the testimony I'm giving you. But you need to know. I sent that to Todd last night. For what reason? I'm not sure. I was moved to do it. Here's another picture that probably has nothing to do with anything yet. It's a possum. It's a possum. Well, I sent it to Jackie Rowland just to send her a picture, just to let her know, hey, I'm thinking about you. You know, how's it going, Jackie? I'm sending you a picture of this cute little possum. And so let me show you what Jackie wrote back. She wrote, I don't know what the top part of the sentence is. You know what? Let me grab my phone real quick. Okay. Not that I'm going to. Does BTR have sound now or no? Can y'all refresh? Or no? Yes, sound. No sound. Yeah. Yes, sound working. Yes, BTR has sound. Okay, here we go. Okay, so check this out. Now I need to set it up. Everybody just do this with me, okay? Everybody just stop and do this with me. Imagine that last night you watched The Count of Monte Cristo and you were blown away by it. Like, oh my Lord, that is the most incredible get back, get even, just the bad guy had it coming movie I've ever seen. And it was poetic justice. And the guy that was good had a good ending for him and for the girl and for his son. And it was, let's go home now. It's all over. And so the whole thing of the movie was, it all ended on a good note. Everybody was exonerated that deserved to be exonerated. They were going home. It had a great ending. And at the end of it was, God is everywhere in everything. Think about that. At the end of the movie, God is everywhere in everything. That's what the girl says. And Jim Caviezel's finally at peace again. He's finally found his peace, you know? Excellent movie. Well, then I sent Jackie Rowland the cute little possum. Jackie Rowland, writes me back. And she says, hey, guess what? DVD I bought and watched yesterday. Have I mentioned to y'all, you know what? Jackie, I'm going to throw you in the grease for like 3 minutes. Jackie Rowland, what's up?
What's up?
I'm sorry, Jackie. I just, I don't want to just sit here and talk like you're not here. Tell everybody how often you watch movies, would you? And then tell everybody how often you buy a movie.
It truly is very, very rare that I will watch a movie, and hardly ever will I buy one. But I did. I was inclined to buy it the other day, a movie, and yeah, I don't know if you want me to go for. Yeah, I really watch them, folks.
And so, being a non-movie watcher, and certainly more than a non-movie buyer, you just decided to buy Return of the King, right?
Lord of the Rings, The Return of the King. Yep.
Okay, so you know what? No. So Jackie, did you see Did you get to see the scene? Did you see the scene yet? Did you, or did you not have time to get to that scene yet?
Oh, for the Count of Monte Cristo. Oh, I watched the whole thing and then.
Okay, so I'm going to have a moment with y'all, and I'm going to have a moment with my friend Jackie, and everybody else on the radio. Okay, now listen up. So Jackie Rowland's on the phone with me. I call her up because I can't text and drive. So Jackie sends me, she sends me that text, and I wrote what, and that is like the answer was what movie, and that is a possum, and she said, oh, what, and then she wrote, oh, you mean movie, Lord of the Rings, Return of the King. Y'all see that on your screen right now? That is Jackie's text message back to me while I'm driving. And so I call her up and I say, hey, Jackie, I can't text. I'm driving. Let's just chat. And I go, so you watched Return of the King? And Jackie says, oh, yeah, I went to a funeral the other day. My sister had a Tree of Life necklace on, which was really weird. And then in the movie Return of the King, the Tree of Life is everywhere. And then we're talking about, and I go, yeah. And then Jackie said something about Return of the King, and then I just freaked out. I went, oh my God, because it hit me like a ton of bricks. All of a sudden, while Jackie said that, the Lord, very quietly in my spirit, said, remember what was in the trunk? And I was like, ah! And Jackie was on the phone with me. I literally freaked out. I was like, oh, because as far as seeing anything in a movie that blew my mind in the past, 10 years, it's on your screen right now. You see, so Jackie, when he opened the trunk, did you get it? Did you?
Wow. Yeah.
Did you just, when he opened that trunk, did you just go, oh my God? Yeah? See the image of the king all by itself? It's just an image of a black king. I mean, yeah. So did you freak out when you saw it? Did you?
You know what? I think what happened at that very moment, somehow I missed it, and I ended up rewinding it, and then I was like, what? Yeah. So yeah. Yeah.
And then did you get? Because I told you I was on the phone with Jackie, and I was like, and I was freaking out. I was going, oh my God. Because the Lord just says, remember what was in the trunk? And I was like, and Jackie's talking about Return of the King, and I'm going like, oh, wow, that's cool. And then I hear, remember what was in the trunk? And I went, oh my God, the king was in the trunk. Return of the King. Here comes the poetic justice. And by the way, folks, this program tonight, we're going to shift gears again because it gets better. I was like, oh my God. So I told Jackie, I said, Jackie, you have to watch The Count of Monte Cristo, and you have to remember that you said Return of the King. Is that right?
Yes, she told me to do that. Yeah.
So was it just mind destroying when you rewound and you saw the king sitting in the trunk? Did you get it?
Oh wow. Yeah. He's coming back. Vengeance is the Lord. He's going to repay. And
vengeance is mine, saith the Lord. I will repay. Yeah. And you know what our job is, folks? And this is what the Lord is impressing upon me. I'm not kidding, because I'll be honest, I'm having some trouble with this, and I'm just gonna give an honest, confession testimony right now. I'm having some trouble with being pissed off. There's some stuff that's happened. Like my kid got punched in the face at the school the other day by this other kid that claims to be a friend of his. His name's Francois, and he's Trinity could easily smack this kid down, and Trinity turned the other cheek, and this kid punched him in the face after school, punched him in the face. And I pulled up right at the moment it had happened, and Trinity walks up to the car, and he had a big old red mark on his face. It was on Friday, and I said, what happened? And he had tears coming out of his eyes. He said, Francois punched me in the face. And I said, well, you don't have to take that. You can, if someone punches you in the face, you're free to go. You don't have to let someone beat you. And Trinity said, I know. And, I realized, that his ability not to hit the kid back, because Trinity's much stronger than this kid, and this kid is smaller, thinner, and doesn't have the capability. but Trinity let it go. And you know what? I was pissed. I was really, really pissed. I mean, I wanted to get out of the car and tell Francois, hey, next time, you know what? I'm going to tell my kid to beat you down into the ground. And I was really struggling with a lot of feelings of anger and hate because this kid would just cold cock my kid in the face. And so I know that the Lord's working on me. I opened up my spam today. I need to do this. I need to do this, Jack, if you don't mind just hanging there. I'm going to read something out of my spam that I opened up today. And I don't know why this went to my spam. This is someone that listens to the program. But this ended up in my spam folder. And I'm like, wow, this is Alyssa. And I don't know how this ended up in my spam folder. But I opened it up and I'm like, what is her email doing in my spam folder? It's from Alyssa. It says, Luke 6:27. But I say unto you which hear, love your enemies, do good to them which hate you. Bless them that curse you, and pray for those which despitefully use you. And unto him that smiteth thee on one cheek, also offer also the other. And that him that taketh away thy cloak, forbid not thy coat to be taken also. And I was like,
Praise
wow.
Lord. Oh, my Lord.
I know. That was it. That was in my spam folder. And I'm like, why would Alyssa, who is a member of this group, why would her, I don't send her stuff to the spam folder. I wouldn't send it to the spam folder. But I thought it was so weird because when I opened my spam folder and I saw Alyssa's name, I was like, why is that there? So naturally I opened it up. And I know why, because the Lord's dealing with me, myself, not to take revenge. Just like the movie, God's going to get his own revenge, and the king's going to take his own revenge. He's going to take his own vengeance, and when the king does it, it's going to be the most poetic revenge ever in the history of the world that you could ever imagine. And that's what he's been showing me using this movie, as well as Jackie, as well as Kat, to convey this message that the end is coming, folks. The king is coming, and he's coming vengeance. Vengeance is what's coming.
Give me justice. Amen.
Yeah, and that's right, Jackie, because that's what was written in that cell. God will give me justice, and he will, and we don't have to do it ourselves. And I'll tell you what, I've been struggling with that. And I mean, I'm telling you, folks, I'm being very honest, man. I've had some like people that say they're Christians coming at me in a way that is so unchristian-like. I really just want to say, hey, you know what? Piss off. And I mean, that's what's going through me. But I'm like, you know what? I got to put it up off to the side and do exactly what the word says. Pray for them, because when you pray for them, you release yourself from that anger. And we're not supposed to have that in us when he shows up. Just like Jim Caviezel at the end. He's at peace. He's let it go. He said, I'll only use my fortune for good. I won't use it for evil. And that's what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to use what we've got for the good of all people, even those that hate us. And that's a tough pill to swallow sometimes, but we got to. Well, Miss Rowland, I hope you like your little possum.
I did. Thank you so much. Thank you for thinking of me. Very cute. Thanks for telling me to watch that movie. Yeah.
Well, I really hope.
Video file.
I really hope you had the moment I was hoping you would have when he opened that trunk, because you were watching. You're the one talking about Return of the King, and then when that trunk opens and it's the king in there and it's poetic justice, it's like, oh my Lord, you got to be kidding me! All right, Jackie. Well, love you. Thank you. I said thank you very much for coming on, helping me out. All right, bye. All right, so anyway, so here we go. So guys, here we go. It gets better. It gets better. So Kat, I think it was yesterday or Sunday. I don't remember which day. Sunday, Kat. Kat's in the chat room, I think. Kat, Sunday. Kat, till I said, what are you doing, Kat? And she said, oh, I'm watching Return of the King. I'm like, well, that's weird. Why is everybody watching Return of the King? I mean, that's a pretty old movie. You know, I've already seen 1,000 orcs getting stabbed, and, you know, I'm kind of done with it. You know what I mean? But I thought it was crazy that, I didn't even remember that Kat had told me she was watching Return of the King on Sunday until just a little while ago. I called Kat up and I told her the story about Jackie and Return of the King and the king chess piece being inside that trunk. And I was like, that is so crazy that it all happened like that. And Kat and I were like, oh my gosh, you were watching Return of the King. So that's what I call a confirmation a la confirmation. But here comes the other confirmation. Y'all notice, watch this. I want to show you something. I'm going to open up YouTube, The Count of Monte Cristo. Watch this. I want to open it up. Okay, everybody look over to the right. This is the movie with Jim Caviezel, The Count of Monte Cristo. I wonder why it's buffering and not playing. That's all right. Okay, everybody look over to the right. Okay, everybody that's looking at you now, I want to show you something. Look at this. I'm showing you the thumbnails. Shanghai Nights, The Count of Monte Cristo, The Count of Monte Cristo, The Hunchback of Notre Dame, Les Miserables, Four Feathers, Hornblower, Helen of Troy, Colosseum, Dark Prince. Y'all see all those? Y'all see all those? Those are the thumbnails that are associated with The Count of Monte Cristo on YouTube. You see that one right there? What's that say? What's on your screen? What's on your screen in the middle? I want to make sure everybody sees this. The what? The Hunchback of my favorite college football team? No. It says The Hunchback of Notre Dame. Yeah, well, I saw that and I'm like, huh, you want to hear something really weird? I saw it and I heard clear as a bell, I want you to watch Hunchback of Notre Dame. And I thought, wow, that is so weird. Watch The Hunchback of Notre Dame. Did you know I've never seen The Hunchback of Notre Dame? But you know what? When I thought about it, I thought, I know that the Hunchback, that he rings the bells of the church, even though I've never seen the movie, I know that the Hunchback rings bells because it's in the kids movie. It's, you know what I mean? It's like, everybody knows that the Hunchback rings the bells, right? So I thought it was kind of interesting that the Lord told me to watch it. I was like, I heard watch it before the program tonight. And then I thought, am I hearing things? Watch The Hunchback of Notre Dame before the program tonight. I just thought that was odd. I was like, well, that's really kind of weird. Didn't make any sense to me. So I went ahead and did what I heard. And here it is. Sit tight. Okay, so The Hunchback of Notre Dame comes on. And I watched the whole movie. And I'm trying to figure out, what is the Lord trying to show me? Okay, I've got it up on your screen right now. And then I noticed, well, obviously Quasimodo has half a face that looks monstrous and half a face that looks like just totally normal. That kind of reminded me of the program on Monday. Half Hulk, half David Banner, half Hulk, half Stewie, half V. And then it reminded me of the program on Monday, Ring, 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 Ring My Bell, Johnny Moto. Remember, Dave was torturing me with Johnny Moto. And, Dave likes to torment me a little bit, and that's all right. I enjoy it. I enjoy the torment. It's all in good fun. And so I thought, wow, that's kind of funny. And so, but I hear the Lord tell me, watch the whole movie before the program tonight. And I'm like, really? Why? And I said, well, I know that Quasimodo is going to ring the bells, so that doesn't count. It doesn't count in my mind. In my mind, watching Quasimodo grab the bells and ring the bells is not something for me to freak out on and go, oh, will he ring the bells? So, I was like, yeah, okay. But watch this. Watch this. This is the end of the movie. He just laid down his life. He just laid down his life to save Esmeralda and to get his father, his adopted father, to tell the truth. He's like, you must tell the truth. You must tell the truth. Tell the truth. So God will accept you. And his dad, he's this fruitcake religious, zealot, and he's a liar and he's a murderer and he's horrible. He's terrible. And Quasimodo is kind-hearted, and he's still, even though his dad has done these horrible things to him and let him get flogged when he could have stopped it. He tells him, he says, please tell the truth. Tell the truth that it was you that murdered the king's right-hand man. And so he hangs him over the edge of the cathedral and says he's going to drop him unless he tells the truth. And so he finally says, it was me. I'm the one that killed the guy. I've never seen this movie before either. And then he gets up, he lets him up and he's happy. He's like, okay, we're done. And then his dad turns and stabs him, and then he's going to stab Esmeralda. And so then the hunchback grabs his dad and goes over the edge of the cathedral with him, and his dad hits the floor. He's dead. But the hunchback, doesn't go over the edge. And they take him inside, and he's dying. And he's laying there dying, and this is the final scene, and this is where my jaw fell open. And this is why the Lord wanted me to watch the movie. And now imagine that you're me, and you just got through watching The Count of Monte Cristo last night, and you know that the Lord told you to watch it, and you see this poetic justice of the king showing up inside the trunk where the bad guy thinks he's going to get all this treasure, and he opens it up and it's the king. Checkmate. And then imagine you're on the phone with your friend Jackie and she's saying, oh yeah, I watched Return of the King, and then all of a sudden you hear the Lord say, remember what was in the trunk? And it's like, oh my gosh. And then you hear the Lord say, watch this. Watch The Hunchback of Notre Dame. Here's the final scene. Get ready. I was like, well, he laid down his life to help others. Now, let's put it all together. Let's just put it all together now. On Monday, you're looking at Abba in Wikipedia, and you're looking at the words ring, ring. And then Dave Shadow's laughing on the phone in your ear saying, hey, I sent you a video. And you turn it on, and it's Johnny Moto, and it's a picture of me as Quasimodo with Debbie Harry singing Ring, 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 Ring My Bell. Okay, that's pretty funny. I mean, that's kind of funny, right? I thought it was pretty funny. I was like, okay, Dave, that's a good one. Oddly enough, I'm looking at the words ring ring in Wikipedia under the name Abba. Just do the math on that for a second. Abba, ring ring, and then Johnny Moto, ring 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 the bell. Ring 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 the bell. Ring 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 the bell. Abba, ring ring, then Johnny Moto, ring 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 the bell. Ring the bell, ring the bell. Wow, that's kind of weird. On the same page that night are people who have half a face that's one thing, half a face that's something else, like Stewie and the Hulk, or David Banner and the Hulk, or the girl from V that's half girl, half reptile. In the movie The Hunchback of Notre Dame, Quasimodo has a face that's half monstrous and half just normal. Kind of like the show notes on Monday, right? He laid down his life and the bells ringing above him in the church. Oh, wow. Yahweh has given a messenger that rings the bell. And by the way, if you look at the name Kleck, it also means lived next to the church or in the church and rang the bell to gather the church. Wow, that's kind of weird. Then there's also a movie called The Count of Monte Cristo. Now, forget the fact that I could really go for a Monte Cristo sandwich right now, but the movie The Count of Monte Cristo is a story of someone being accused falsely, and he goes to prison for a while, but then he ends up getting exonerated. He ends up escaping, then he gets exonerated, and then there is perfect poetic justice. And the way the poetic justice is delivered is by a piece off a chessboard that is a king. Imagine that you're on the phone with a friend and the friend says, I just watched Return of the King. And then all of a sudden the Lord tells you, remember what was in the trunk? Oh, yeah, the chess piece that was the king coming back to get revenge. What did it say on the wall of the prison? God will give me justice. What was said at the end of the movie? God is everywhere in everything. I don't know that you could even come close to taking and making a thread to go in the tapestry that fits so perfectly. It's just like, wait a minute. Let's talk about the overlapping. Let's talk about the overlap. Okay, Monday night, there was people with half their face as a monster, half their face human. Let's talk about Quasimodo. Half the face monster, half the face human. Does anyone know what Quasimodo means? Does anybody know what Quasimodo means? Anybody? No? Without looking it up? No, doesn't mean hunchback. Quasi means almost. Modo means man. Almost man. Wow, that's interesting. Quasimodo, almost man. Does that sound like our condition? Does that sound like David Banner that turns into the Hulk? I mean, come on. Almost man. Does that sound like our condition? Almost man. But with the beast inside, there's nowhere we can hide. Half man, half beast. Yeah, I mean, come on. Ringing the bell, and he's finally everything. The whole thing is about exoneration on Jim Caviezel. The whole thing's about the king being the point of the poetic justice, and that the king shows back up in the movie. And when the king shows back up, that is the moment of poetic justice, Jackie Rowland and Kat were both watching Return of the King. The Lord puts it in my mind. That's why I had you watch the movie, because the King is coming. Ring the bell. Dave had Ring the Bell on, on Monday night's program. Johnny Moto, almost Johnny. I mean, try and wrap your brain around all this stuff. It's crazy. I told you it was going to be fun, right? I mean, that's pretty fun. I was like, this is so bananas that to be able to make a thread or a piece of yarn that's got the right coloring and overlap that fits into the tapestry tonight, and to do it in such a way is so mind-boggling to me that tonight we put another thread in the tapestry, and it was so edifying. It was so perfect. It was so just, it's ring the bell, Johnny, ring the bell. Ring it. I'm coming. Justice is coming. I'm coming. Yeah, your almost human condition is almost done with. Get it? Quasimodo, almost human. Oh, my Lord. V. Oh, yeah, V. They're part human, part something else. The Hulk, he's part human, part green guy. Quasimodo, almost human. I mean, there is no way you can make this stuff up. It's the foolishness of God. It's the foolishness of God that is wiser than the wisdom of men. And it is. It's so wise that you cannot make it up. You can't come up with this kind of stuff. There's no way, because it's wisdom from a supernatural source that proves he's orchestrating it. And so therefore we declare the praises of him who called us out of the darkness and into his marvelous light. Praise be to God, right? All praise to God, because you know what? What a mind blower. Quasimodo dies under the bells that are ringing in a church. Yahweh has given a messenger that sounds an alarm, rings a bell. Kleck, the sign of a bell. Someone that rang the bell in a church. That's what Kleck means. You know what? You know what? I have it right here. I'm going to go grab it. I'm going to put on a song. I got to read this for myself. I'm doing this more for myself probably than for y'all. I got to grab this. Okay, so here we go. Y'all ready? I'm going to read this to you. Kleck, a variant of the word Glock. German, from Middle High German, Old High German, Glocke, apparently, ultimately, from a Celtic source. Hence, a topographic name for someone, listen, y'all are going to freak out. Are y'all ready? Y'all are going to freak out. Okay, y'all ready? I'm going to read y'all the actual definition of the name Kleck. Here it comes. from Celtic source, hence a topographic name for someone who lived by the bell tower of a church. Oh, you mean like Johnny Moto? Yeah. Yeah. It's a topographic name for someone who lived by the bell tower church, a habitational name from a house distinguished by the sign of a bell, or a metonymic occupational name for a sexton who, among other duties, was responsible for ringing the church bell, or a town crier, and who used a handbell to draw attention. That's what the name Kleck means. That sounds just like Quasimodo, folks. I can't make this stuff up. Oh my gosh! You know what? I gotta read that one more time. Okay. Somebody give me my humpback. Wait a minute. Okay. It is a Celtic source, hence a topographic name for someone who lived by the bell tower of a church. The bell tower. The bell tower of a church. A habitational name from a house distinguished by the sign of a bell, or a metonymic occupational name for a sexton who, among other duties, was responsible for ringing the church bell. I'm John Emoto, folks. That's all there is to it. And then it says, or a town crier who used a handbell to draw attention. So Dave got it right. I'm really Johnny Moto. My secret identity has been revealed. And by the way, I just do a good job of wearing baggy shirts to cover up the hump. Oh my goodness. So yeah, that was that. There it goes. There it is again. Hang on, let me X out of this screen real quick. Yeah, it's probably a coincidence that I've never watched that movie, and all of a sudden the Lord tells me, I want you to watch it before the program tonight. Okay, y'all ready? We're not done yet. I got to wrap this up in 15 minutes. Okay, so now are y'all ready? We kind of recap. Hey, check this out. Listen up. Did I tell you guys that last night I sent Todd a picture from the grocery store and I didn't know why I was sending him this particular picture? Did I tell y'all that? I told y'all on the radio earlier that I took a picture at the grocery store last night and I sent it to Todd, who's in Florida. I said, hey, I just came down this aisle and this is in front of me. I just snapped a picture of it. It was of a bottle of wine, remember? I'll put it on your screen right now. Okay, here you go. There's the picture of the bottle of wine. Y'all see it? Y'all see it up on your screen? Y'all got that up? Okay, y'all see that? Well, I snapped that last night, right? I sent that to Todd last night. But it did not become significant until today, really. What was the movie? Jackie Rowland said she watched what movie? What movie did Jackie Rowland say she watched? That she even bought it. She doesn't buy movies. Jackie Rowland watched Return of the King, right? Return of the King. Well, let's take a quick look at the tree that buds. King comes back. And let's take a look at the picture I photographed last night before I talked to Jackie Rowland. Are y'all looking at your screen? On your left is the bottle of wine. On your right is the tree that buds when the king comes back. Okay, do y'all see anything that looks just eerily the same? That means God knew to have me stop in a grocery store and photograph a bottle of wine, send it to Todd last night because he knew that today he would bring it to me and say, hey, by the way, Jackie watched Return of the King. What was in the trunk, Jonathan? Oh my God, the king. Oh, the king came. He got revenge. The king came back and brought vengeance. Oh my gosh. And that's the tree from the movie Return of the King. And that's the photo I took last night. And I had no idea why I was photographing that last night. Well, because it didn't become significant until today. That is bananas. There it is. See, look. There's the bottle of wine from the grocery store. And now here comes the tree from Return of the King. They're almost identical. The one that says native son is red reminds me of the blood of Christ, right? So now we'll put them both together side by side. Look how similar. That is a very odd shape for a tree, man. Look at the tree on the bottle of wine, the red tree. That is the weirdest shape. I'm an artist, man. That's not a normal tree. That's a different tree. And look at the tree that's in the Return of the King. It looks the same. It's the same kind of structure. It's got the thick trunk, the broken off limbs. It's got the same exact look. Isn't that bizarre? Isn't that just wild? That's insane. Especially to photograph it last night and not know why you're doing it. There it is. Yeah. By the way, I keep hearing this today. I keep hearing this in my spirit today. I've heard it over and over and over again. The tree that's out front of this house, the tree that's in front of this house, the one that already bloomed in February, guess what's happening right now? Here comes the fruit. Yeah, here comes the fruit. It's producing all kinds of fruit. This little tree is just producing tons and tons of fruit. It's pretty wild. Yeah, it's out front. There's so many peaches on it, it's insane. I was like, how does such a little tree produce so many peaches? That's crazy. There's peaches all over it. I was like, you got to be kidding. Now we're having all this rain in San Antonio. I wouldn't be surprised if by the end of the week, those peaches are starting to get bigger and bigger. It's pretty wild, isn't it? Praise God. So there you go, folks. I hope you guys are encouraged as I was. I just was like, oh my gosh. If you haven't seen the movie, The Count of Monte Cristo, you got to watch it. It's absolutely great. It's a great movie. I loved it. It's probably one of my favorite movies. Anyway, I hope you guys are encouraged because, man, oh man, that kind of orchestration, that kind of deal is only orchestrated by the Lord. There's no other way. Not by power nor by might, but by my spirit, says the Lord. That's how he does stuff. He does it through his spirit. You get it? He knew that Jackie Rowland, he had Jackie buy the movie. He knew I was going to go to the grocery store. He knew he would walk me down that aisle. He knew he would stop me and have me photograph that bottle of wine. I had no idea what it meant for anything. I'm like, Todd, I don't know why I'm photographing this, but I'm photographing it. I'm sending it to you. I don't know what it means. I know what it means now. The king's coming back is what it means. Return of the king. Native Son, S-O-N. That's the name of the wine. Native Son, S-O-N. Who's the king that's coming back? What's the name of the king? Isn't he the Son of God? Native Son. Yeah, the Son. I mean, it's all so wild. You can't make this stuff up. It's just so wild, isn't it? Isn't that cool? So be encouraged, guys. Jesus is coming. We know he's coming. Yeah. He's coming. There's no doubt again, he's coming. He keeps encouraging us in a supernatural way in order for us to stay focused and stay the course and not, get bummed out. Don't look at the world. Don't get involved in it. Just stay with it. It'll come. It will come. All right, guys. Well, listen, God bless you. And I'm going to play a song. Then I'm going to go grab my kiddos and, just horse around with them for a while, okay? All right, guys. Well, God bless you. And yeah, I just, I'm kind of beside myself. I just think it's so amazing that he did it again and the way he did it. Here we go.
Out of my darkness.
All right, folks. God bless you and good night.